Tapu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Huru Nefer, and Atarak. This is Kasakma Keperu with another video for you. In this video, I want to talk about how to magnify your spiritual power. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live or when I upload recorded videos. Also, I do have free ebooks on my spiritual teachings. These ebooks really contain a lot of great esoteric knowledge and can take you to the next level. Just go down below, scroll down below, click on one ebook that you find interesting and download it right away and start reading. Lastly, if you're not already a supporter of ours on Patreon, you can do so for as little as $1, $5, $20 a month. It's up to you. You get exclusive access to instructional videos which cover a wide array of things such as communicating with the ancestors, how to do oracle readings on your own, how to astro project, self-hypnosis techniques to rid yourself of depression, anxiety, and stress. So please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. You get a lot of stuff in return, and you can always cancel at any time. Lastly, YouTube is engaging in things like shadow banning. So my channel is not being put out there as it should be because I'm addressing really hot topics such as COVID-19. So please share this video with family and friends so we can get this revolution started. It's very important. So, Netsurak, how are you? How is everyone dealing with the self-imposed isolation? Is it, like we're still trapped in our humble abode? This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to practice your magic and practice writing spells and doing elaborate rituals. There was I forgot his name. He was a occultist, and he got accused of a crime that he did not commit, and he ended up spending life in prison on death row. He said what saved him was magic, meaning that he used that time while he was in isolation to practice his magic, to practice rituals. And he got to a point where he would wake up and look forward to the next ritual he would do. And his cell was so small and so confining, But the idea was for him was that he said, listen, I can't control the fact that they have me here. So I'm going to do as much as possible to master magic. And lo and behold, he was able to shift to a new reality where, in spite of being on death row with no chance of parole, he was let go and he gained his freedom. So that's a little story. I want you to think about that and keep that in mind. Well, I wanted to make this video because a certain revelation came to me the other day while I was doing a ritual. And it's something I said, well, I need to share this so others can benefit from it. Many, many years ago, many moons ago, I was really involved in trying to obtain this goal. I'm not going to reveal what the goal was, but I knew that it was a monumental task. And I was facing a lot of obstacles, one of which was racism. So I said, all right, I'm going to have to do some serious magic on this. So I went out there and I bought all kinds of things, all kinds of what we call fetishes, tools. So I put together an altar table and I did a very, very elaborate ritual. Now, if you are doing this correctly, what's going to happen is it's going to exhaust you to the point of where you would pass out. You'll have no more energy because it's kind of like almost like I say it's like an exchange of energy, but it's really you're giving energy to the ritual. You're pouring your energy in there. And this is why there's certain necessary prerequisites that you do before performing a ritual to make sure that you have purged yourself of negative energy and that you have been building up enough sufficient energy to perform the ritual, because you're going to be expending that energy in the ritual itself. Well, the ritual I did at least twice a month for, I think it was like 2 years, 3 years, actually 3 years, I think it was. And I would track my progress. And this is another thing that I do teach this in my course, Reality Manifestation, about how you just don't go out there and you do a ritual and then you hope that everything will come out in favor for you. You've got to know how you go to the oracle and track the progress. The oracle can actually tell you when your objective will come to you if you're doing your ritual correctly. So you can track this and know exactly the month, the day that it'll all come to fruition. And you will realize your objective, realize your dream. Well, actually, and that's what this was. It was a dream of mine, you know, and I had the benefit of having family members who were supportive in this endeavor. So I did this ritual, and I was very diligent. And I built up the necessary energy. I bought the herbs. I bought the incense. I bought the fetishes. I did everything. And what was interesting about it was I actually saw the fruits of my labor. Because I tell people who are in my reality manifestation program, one thing you do is when you do the ritual to achieve your objective, look for synchronicity. It happens pretty quickly. And that's an indication that you're moving closer to your objective. So don't give up. I was getting, and when I say synchronicity, I mean ping. We call it a ping. This is where reality pings you back and says, yes, message received. I am working on delivering your objective to you. I would get these pings from reality, and it was telling me, it's coming your way. It's coming your way. I began to meet very influential people. I began to go into very, very exclusive circles that by natural means, I had no right to be there. I was a nobody. I mean, I was hobnobbing with very, very well-known, wealthy individuals, and they were taking me under their wing. They were teaching me about the business and everything. And I was in awe at how 1 minute I'm a nobody, and the next minute, these famous and influential people were calling upon me and wanting to work with me. I remember it was exciting at one point in time, and this to show you how powerful magic can be. I had went to exclusive event, right? And it was a well-known A-list actor that was there. And for whatever reason, he took a liking to me. So I remember walking around the event, kind of lost, didn't know anybody. And I heard somebody calling my name, Kesank, come over here. And rather loudly. And I turned and it was this well-known actor. And I was in awe that he remembered my name. And I was shocked that he wanted me to come over there. And he started to introduce me to other actors, you know, and other influential business people. And I was just like, wow. And it happened so much that I began to be numb about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, I met so-and-so, head of this corporation, and him and the two of us had lunch, and no big deal. So I was waiting because I did my magic. I was devoted. I was doing my readings. So I was waiting for what I want to actually materialize. And long story short, it never happened. In fact, it was like a big bubble ready to explode, and it doesn't. In fact, it implodes very slowly. And I saw my influence shrink and not being invited to those inner circles anymore. So lo and behold, I was devastated. Got into a depressionary state, and at one point considered getting out of spiritual culture. I'm like, why? Why go through all of this effort? Why go through all of this to only have it not materialize? What did I do wrong? Question. And then I even had a couple of incidences that went very bad for me, which made things even worse. And after that point, for about 5 years, I just backed away, was like, I'm depressed over this. I don't know what to do. This caught me off guard. Why? Well, I'm going to tell you why things like that happen so you can learn from my experience. An opportunity came up not too long ago to pick up where I left off. I was very hesitant. I was like, oh, I've gone down this road before. This is not going to work. Why should I do this? And I don't know if I could build that spiritual power, build up that energy as I did before. Because what I did took a lot of energy, took a lot of work. So I don't know if I can go through that. But I said, okay, let me give it a shot. Because, at this point in time, this is about like 20 years later. I said, well, I'm more knowledgeable as far as spiritual power is concerned. I know how to summon different spirits and summon different powers. So maybe I'll give it a try this time and see what happens. But the thought occurred to me. I said, man, I'm starting from scratch, man. I'll do this whole thing over again, So I did the first ritual. And lo and behold, my ancestors came to me and they enlightened me as to something. And then I was like, oh, I got you. That makes sense. Thank you. Thank you for the wisdom and knowledge. Thank you. You see, we are very limited in what we can see. Your eyes deceive you. You think that you're not making progress when in reality you are. It's like the tip of an iceberg. You can only see the tip, but if you look underwater, the iceberg is humongous, really big. And you would not realize that. You would just see this little piece of ice sticking out of the water, and you just think, oh, silly old thing, let me just, psh. And it's lo and behold, you can't move it because it's attached to this huge thing. So that's how your magic is. When you're working on something, you may not see the fruits of your labor. You may not think you're making progress when you are. You see, we have been taught and brainwashed by a Western man who doesn't know anything about what he's talking about. He's stupid as all hell, but he's very good at delusions. He's very good at smoke and mirrors. So, the Western man will make you think that he is God, that he knows all, he is all. And because the masses of us have come out of a very tragic thing, slavery, and we're still traumatized, we're likely to fall victim to this mindset, this Western man who tells us things, and we believe him. But they're just lies. I want you to understand that. This is why there was no book I could go to explain what to do next. I had to ask my ancestors, and they came to me and they explained to me, hey, this is the situation. So what I want you to understand is you're dealing with a science here that your ancestors left to you, a very exact science. We're not playing games here, all right? You want to listen to this Western man who doesn't know shit. What does David Icke says? He doesn't have, David Icke, the conspiracy theorist, doesn't have two brain cells to rub together. Who has fooled you and tricked you into following his system, whether it be his business, so-called business acumen, or his religious institutions, or his educational institutions. They are all flawed. They are all backwards. But yet we eat it up. I am telling you, there are more things out there that will amaze you, that will astonish you than this limited left brain Western man can conceive of. He is so limited and so ignorant as to the truth of life. And if you follow him, you'll follow him off a cliff. Wham! This is why when we did the readings about what we are to do, and if you didn't know that we did the readings, go back to my other video, you'll see the readings. The readings came up with the Ma'at and the Shep's card, which is telling us we have to live truth by following our ancestors' culture. Get back into that. But I'm going off the subject matter here. But what I want to tell you is this. My ancestors said, Kasank, that original ritual you did, where you built up all of that energy, all of that power, do you think that's gone? Do you think that has dissipated? No, my love. When you pick up and do this ritual now, you're picking up from where you left off. You've accumulated a lot of spiritual power. It's like putting money into a bank. I forgot that I've been putting into my savings, and now it's time to make a withdrawal. See, those rituals that I did 20 years ago, that power is still there. And if I decide to move forward, to pick up where I left off, that power is going to reconnect with me, and then we can get going and correct what should have been mine 20 years ago. But why? Why did it manifest 20 years ago? That's the question. I forgot one thing, one important thing. If you look on the tree of life, what deity is at the top of the tree? Sekert, goddess of spiritual power, goddess of the 72 mantras, the words of power that create the universe and all that there is. And although I was a student of Kemetic science, I have forgotten about Sekert. Till one of the priests, the elders, took me to lunch, and I never forget that he was scribbling on a piece of paper. He said, Kasak, if you go into business, you must do so as Sekert. I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What do you mean by that? And now, after years, I get it. Sekert, you see, is the goddess of cycles. Very, very important. There's a time and a place for everything. It may not be your time now, but your time will come. And although I was doing all that spiritual work and the magic, it wasn't the right cycle. The planets would not align properly for another 25 years or so. Had I been a little more educated in spiritual culture, I would have known that and said, oh, cycle is not right now for me to achieve my business objective. But if I wait patiently, it will come. So the Western man says this. The Western man says, oh, look, you did all that stuff. You did the ritual and all that and the spooky stuff. And it didn't work. That proves it doesn't work. No, my beloved. Time and place for everything. Sekert is the goddess of cycles. You must understand. See, you know what? We're so confused by this Western man that we think time is linear. It's cyclical. It's not linear. So when we start on this path to learn, we have to purge ourselves of some of the garbage we've picked up from this Western society. And part of that garbage is thinking that we live in linear time space. It's not true. That's not true. Just as though when I'm counseling people, I'm doing career readings for them, and I'm telling them, well, you know, you got the fifth hexagram in the I-ching. That fifth hexagram is what? Waiting. Give it time. It's not the time right now. Wait this thing out. Which is why if you're looking for a way out of this COVID-19 thing, the trick is to focus on the objective, focus on the outcome. Don't focus on what's going on right now. Because if you're looking at what's going on right now, all you're doing is reinforcing the current reality, and you don't want to do that. Why are you reinforcing this current reality? You want a better and brighter future. So then you visualize the future of where you want to go, and then watch it come to fruition. Here's a really interesting book by Vadim Zeland. He is the author of Reality Transurfing, and this is what he has to say. Actively see and expect a different reality, and it will show up. You've got to denounce the current reality that's going on right now and embrace the reality that you want. Are you reacting and responding, or directing your thoughts in the way that match your intentions? Keep that in mind. Reality is not fixed, but fluid or mutable and open to influence. Isn't that beautiful? Knowing that you have a hand in how something will unfold. So what I'm saying to you is, in addition to working your power, your spiritual power, you also have to understand that you must be doing your readings to know when what you want will come to you. Therefore, you can sit back secure in the mind that it's coming. It's coming. It's yours. Because once you do the ritual, and then the oracle says, this is yours in 2021, then it's beautiful after that. It's all beautiful because you know all you have to do is continue with your rituals, continue doing the same thing. And then when the new year comes in, then it's your year. Everything that you've been working toward will come to fruition. That's the exact science of this. We don't just leave things to happenstance or hope and pray that things will work in our favor. We do our spiritual work. Now, there are some times when you may do a ritual and things just don't happen when they should have happened. In that case, you have to ask yourself, and this is an important thing too, it's the ecology of what you want. There's an ecosystem. And since this spiritual system is based on cosmology, meaning that we have to look at the whole and make sure that what you want doesn't infringe upon other aspects. So what that basically means is, even though you say you want something, are you sincere? Do you really understand the ramifications of, if you got it, would it be taken for someone just to give to you? Do you deep in your heart know that what you want is not good and healthy for you? If that's the case, then don't expect it to come to you. You can do all the rituals you want. Your own self, your own consciousness is going to sabotage you because you know it's not a good thing for you. This is why many of us get caught up asking for, oh, a beautiful woman in our lives or a handsome man. But you forget to ask the question, or forget to pose this and say, I want to make sure that this person will be loving and devoted. Because sometimes magic is literal. You may get the very handsome and attractive mate, but they'll wreck your life. They'll cheat on you. They'll be selfish. They'll physically abuse you, physically and verbally abuse you. But you did ask for that. You asked for somebody who was physically attractive, but you didn't ask for somebody who would live with you harmoniously, who would take care of you, who would be with you through thick and thin. So be careful when you are writing down what you want when you do your ritual. Make sure you cover your bases. Because if you don't, You either won't get it or you'll get it and it'll create more problems and hell for you in your life. But the main thing I want you to understand is this. It works. It works. If you do it right, you can expect an outcome. So with that said, I want to thank you for tuning in and understand that message that the factors that I've outlined here are extenuating circumstances. They are factors that may come into play when you do your ritual, when you do your meditations. Consider these things and understand why is it you may not get what you want, or if you get what you want, why is it that it may not be good for you? Remember, you have ancestors looking out for you, and they will intervene when necessary. But above all, understand that the power relies within you. It is within you. And this reality is just one among a many different, infinite number of realities you can select from. If you don't like what's going on in your life right now, change it. Adopt a new belief system. Adopt a visualization, seeing yourself in the world, in the reality that you love and you want. One of the most powerful things that you can do is when you go to the oracles to find out if what you want is in alignment with your destiny, is to get the mantra. And that mantra, you start chanting it. And that mantra, by chanting it alone, can bring about the reality that you want. That's how powerful our culture is. That we have these spiritual tools in our arsenal to work with. So if you are interested in taking your spiritual education to the next level, please sign up for my reality manifestation course. We have the most, and I want to say this, the students that I'm teaching in that course, they are an awesome group of people. They've come, they're humble, and they're willing to learn, and they're taking their knowledge to the next step and beyond. And I've told them, I think I've packed the course with too many things, because you get a wide array of lesson plans on oracles, on meditations, on working with invoking spirits and things of that nature. I said, I'm afraid, guys, I've just thrown too much at you, but it's okay. I know you can handle it, or else I wouldn't have given it to you. So it's an awesome course with some really, really awesome students. And we're building a lot of fellowship there. So if you can, take the opportunity to sign up. You will learn things that you will take with you for the rest of your life. Let me explain this to you. I'm going to end with this. I've always been a very meek, shy, reserved person. And because I've walked a life in that way, many people have thought they can take liberties with me. They've walked all over me. They've backstabbed me. They've betrayed me. Had my mate came to me and said, "Your best friend is hitting on me." And I was like, no way. No way. I've known him for years. She goes, "No, your best friend is hitting on me." And I didn't believe it until finally she put him on the phone and I spoke to him. And he had to admit the truth, which he was. And I had to end that relationship. And then consequently, some other things were done that were not right. But I want you to know this. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about how that works. When someone does you wrong, when a friend backstabs you, when a corporation fires you for racist reasons, when someone does you wrong, I want you to say this to yourself. They know not who they're fucking with. I don't mean to be harsh, but you now have a weapon at your disposal. that when somebody thinks they can play with you, betray you, walk all over you, they're messing with the wrong person, because you are now endowed with spiritual power, that all you have to do is do a meditation and you will correct their behavior. Now, back to what I was saying, that when my friend did this and was hitting on my mate, I did the Ma'at meditation to make him understand what he was doing wrong and to correct his behavior. No, I wasn't going to do a ritual to strike him down or curse him or anything like that. I don't do that. But what I do is rituals to make someone see the error of their ways. So don't ever think that God doesn't have your back, because when you learn these things, you can rest assured that if things happen to you, you have a means to correct the wrong, to bring justice into the situation. You can't fight the corporations. You can't fight the government. You're one person. But you got Sekert behind you, the goddess of spiritual power, and she will always be behind you. And if someone does you wrong, well, you go to your magic bag and you pull out one among many of your magical tools to deal with the situation and correct it. And that's how you should live your life, knowing that if anything happens, you can always turn to magic, always turn to your spiritual power to save you at the end of the day. And then you relax, be at peace, because you know then everything will work out to your favor. I want to thank you all for taking the time to jump in here and join us. And feel free to, if you have any questions, follow up with me through email. I always make myself available to be at your disposal, well, to be there for you. This is Kazakh Ma Keperu, Soda Matan Tu, Team Aunt is a beautiful guy, Teteru. Until my next video, I'm in Ra.